Somewhere in the last few years, you stopped touching your partner when you passed them in the kitchen. You didn't decide to stop. There was no fight about it, no moment you could point to. Just one day there was a hand on a shoulder in passing, a touch on the back at the counter, and then, quietly, there wasn't. Neither of you noticed the day it happened, but your body did. Their body did. And when you try to explain what went wrong, you reach for the only story available. They changed. They got colder, angrier, more critical. They're not the person you fell in love with anymore. You're right, they're not. But here's the part no one has ever told you. The part that's going to sting before it sets you free. They didn't change. You changed them. Slowly, daily, with a tool you didn't know you were holding. And they've been doing the exact same thing to you. There's an ancient map of the human mind that explains precisely how two people who loved each other manufacture, piece by piece, day by day, the very person they can no longer stand. And once you see the mechanism, you can reverse it, not in years of therapy. Starting tonight with one sentence. But first, you need to see what you've been holding in your hand this whole time. Here is the model of the mind that makes sense of everything you've lived through. Deep below your everyday awareness, there is a layer of consciousness that works like soil. Buddhist psychology calls it the store consciousness. And buried in that soil, in you and in everyone you love, are seeds. Every human emotion you are capable of exists down there as a seed. Seeds of joy, tenderness, forgiveness, playfulness, courage, and right beside them, seeds of anger, jealousy, resentment, contempt, despair. Every seed is in everyone. The kindest person you know carries the seed of cruelty. The angriest person you know carries the seed of tenderness. What makes people so different from one another is not which seeds they have. It is which seeds have been watered by their parents, by their circumstances, and, more than anything else in adult life, by the person they live with. Because here is the fact that dismantles the story you've been telling about your relationship. A seed that gets watered grows. A seed that is not watered stays dormant. That is the entire mechanism. And whoever you spend your life with becomes the head gardener of your soil, watering certain seeds in you day after day, with their words, their tone, their attention, their accusations, while you, with every reaction of yours, do exactly the same to them. Now think about that couple you know, maybe the couple you are. He has become angry and bitter. Yes, because years of criticism, coldness, and sighs of contempt watered the anger seed in him every single day until anger was no longer something he occasionally felt, but something he was. She has become cold and critical. Yes, because years of defensiveness, withdrawal, and sarcasm watered exactly those seeds in her, until the warm woman she used to be went dormant, like a garden no one tends. Neither of them is lying. The person they married really is gone, but that person didn't leave. That person was unwatered for years, while a different person was cultivated in their place, one careless bucket at a time. This is the sentence that should stop you cold. The version of your partner that you live with is, in part, your own harvest. Feel how this lands on your own life. Think about what you notice in your partner. When they walk through the door, where does your attention go? To the thing they did right, or the thing they forgot? When you speak about them to your friends, which stories do you tell? When you replay the relationship at night, which scenes are on the loop? Attention is water. Whatever you attend to, you water. Complain about their irritability every day, and you are, with perfect reliability, growing their irritability. Watch for their selfishness, and you will find it, name it, provoke it, and cultivate it until you are surrounded by the very traits you despise and completely blind to the fact that you have been irrigating them all along, and they are doing the same to you. Their criticism waters your defensiveness. Your defensiveness waters their contempt. Their contempt waters your withdrawal. Two gardeners working in each other's soil around the clock, each one growing in the other precisely the person they no longer want to live with, and each one utterly convinced that the other simply changed. No one changed. Everyone was cultivated. And here is the quietest, sharpest cut of all. You do this to yourself too. Every time you replay your failures, rehearse the old argument, scroll through your inadequacies at midnight, you are watering your own seeds of despair with your own hands. The inner critic is just a gardener with a hose, aimed at the worst soil you own. So what is the way out? Not communication, not date nights bolted onto a poisoned routine. Something far more precise. It is called selective watering, and it is exactly what it sounds like. You do not fight the negative seeds. You cannot rip them out. They are part of the human inheritance. They will be in the soil until the end. Fighting them, obsessing over them, analyzing them in endless relationship post-mortems, all of that is just more water. Instead, you do the one thing that actually determines a garden. You choose, deliberately every day, which seeds get the water. In practice, it looks almost embarrassingly simple. Each day, you find one real thing, not flattery, one true thing, and you water it. I noticed how patient you were with the kids tonight. You handled that call beautifully. I still love the way you laugh at your own jokes. 30 seconds, one bucket of water poured on the seed of joy instead of the seed of resentment. And when the negative arises in them, because it will, you stop yourself from doing the one thing that feels most natural and most justified. You refuse to water it. You don't take the bait. You don't match the tone. You don't file the incident away as one more proof. You let that seed go dry for a day. Do the math on what this means over time. 2 people, each watering the best seeds in the other once a day, and quietly declining to water the worst. Within weeks, the climate of an entire relationship begins to shift. Not because anyone was fixed, because the irrigation changed. But there is a problem, and it is the reason good intentions always collapse. Anger doesn't wait for your gardening schedule. The moment you are hurt, every ancient instinct in you wants to grab the hose and blast their worst seed at point-blank range. Which is why this teaching comes with something astonishingly practical, a real document used by real couples in a real practice community. It is called the Peace Treaty. The Peace Treaty is an agreement 2 people sign in peacetime, when they are calm and love is easy, that governs exactly what they will do in wartime. Its terms are simple and unyielding. When I am angry with you, I agree not to say or do anything in that moment, because I know that anything I say or do while burning will only water the worst in both of us. I agree to tell you calmly within 24 hours that I am suffering, because hiding my pain and letting it ferment is its own act of violence. And I agree, while I wait, to go back to my own breath and look deeply into my anger, because I know, from every fight we have ever had, that its roots usually reach deeper than tonight, into my seeds, my history, the soil I brought with me long before I met you. And the other person agrees to their side. To take the suffering seriously, to make time to listen, truly listen, and to ask the question that almost no one in a conflict ever asks: what did I water in you? Do you see what the treaty really is? It is 2 gardeners agreeing in advance that when the storm comes, neither of them will reach for poison. It doesn't prevent the anger, it prevents the watering of the anger. And that single restraint, repeated imperfectly over months, is how a couple on the edge of collapse slowly discovers that the people they fell in love with were never gone. They were dormant, waiting, like all unwatered seeds, for someone to remember where the water goes. So tonight, try the only experiment that matters. Look at the person you love, the one who has become harder to love, and ask yourself with total honesty, what have I been watering? Not what have they done, not who is right. What have your attention, your words, your daily reactions been irrigating in them for the last year? And then pick up one clean bucket of water. Find one true good thing in them. It is there, it is dormant, not dead, and water it out loud tonight. You cannot control which seeds they carry. Everyone carries all of them, but you have been deciding every single day which of their seeds grow, just as they have been deciding yours. You were never just living with this person. You were gardening them. Now garden like you know it.